Hi everybody. I know you all love reading storybooks. I'm sure you all have your favorite fairy tales, love stories, or stories about heroes and heroines. Many of the composers of classical music loved stories too, and many of them wrote music to the stories they loved and made them into operas or ballets. In opera, singers sing and act to tell stories, and in ballet, dancers dance and act to tell stories. Both opera and ballet have orchestra musicians playing music along with the singers or dancers. When you go to a theater to see opera or ballet, you will find a pit in front of the stage, and that's where the orchestra musicians play. This is what's different from a symphony concert where you see the big orchestra made up of 80-some musicians all on the stage. In operas and ballets, the orchestra plays a supporting role to the singers and dancers. Today, I'm going to introduce to you 3 stories. The first one is from an opera, and the second and the third are from ballets. I will also introduce some of the most famous pieces of music that are featured in these works. I have a feeling you might recognize a lot of them. I will be playing arrangements of these well-known works for you. They will be shorter and simplified versions of the original opera or ballet, for the obvious reason that I'm just one violin trying to play what a full orchestra would play. But rest assured, I'll make sure to include the best bits for you, okay? Our first story is from the opera William Tell. This is a true story that happened 700 years ago in Switzerland. There was a time when Switzerland was ruled by a tyrant whose name was Gessler. Gessler was nasty and so full of himself that he even set up a tall pole in the town square, put his cap on the top of it, and gave orders that every man who came into the town should bow down before it. But there was one man who wouldn't do this. His name was William Tell. When Gessler heard about William Tell not bowing down to the pole, he began to fear that other men would see this, and soon the whole country would rebel against him. So he decided to punish William Tell. He ordered William Tell's son to stand up in the public square with an apple on his head, and ordered William Tell to shoot the apple with his arrow. William Tell begged Gessler not to make him do this, but Gessler did not give William Tell a choice. Gessler said, "You must hit the apple with your one arrow. If you fail, my soldiers will kill the boy before your eyes." Now, William Tell was a famous hunter, very skillful with his bow and arrow. The boy stood firm and still, with an apple on his head. He was not afraid because he had faith in his father's skill. William fitted the arrow to his bow and shot the arrow. The arrow whistled through the air and struck right in the center of the apple and carried it away. The townspeople shouted with joy. As William Tell was turning away, an arrow, which was hidden under his coat, dropped onto the ground. William Tell picked up the arrow and said to Gessler, "You tyrant, this second arrow was for your heart if I had hurt my child." Eventually, Gessler's regime fell, and William Tell played a crucial part in setting the country free. This is a story of bravery and faith. You see the bravery of William Tell and his son's faith in his father's skill. The composer Rossini put music to this great story and made it into an opera about 200 years ago. The opera is about 4 hours long and has a lot of great songs in it. In the beginning of operas or ballets, usually the orchestra plays a piece alone, and we call this music the overture. Many tunes which are going to be heard during the opera or ballet are included in the overture. This is to prepare the audience for what is to come. The opera William Tell has the most famous overture of all time. It's so popular that it gets played a lot as a standalone piece in concerts separate from the opera, and even gets played in movies and commercials quite a bit. First, I want you to listen to this sound. What did it sound like? Yes, it sounded like a galloping horse. I used my daughter's tap shoes to make this horse galloping sound. Now you know, William Tell is a hunter who rides on horseback. The composer, Rossini, wanted to incorporate this horse galloping sound into the music, and he had the violins imitate the galloping sound, just like this. Listen. We string players call this kind of bow technique ricochet. Everybody say ricochet. It means bouncing. Now I will play the overture. In the moments you see and hear me do the ricochet, you might imagine yourself riding on the back of a horse. next story is a fairy tale. It's called Swan Lake. Tchaikovsky was the composer who wrote the music to the ballet. He's the same composer who wrote the famous Nutcracker ballet. The story of Swan Lake goes like this.
One day, when Prince Siegfried is by the lake with his bow and arrow trying to hunt swans, the Swan Queen comes to him in the human form of Odette and stops him from hurting the swans. She begins to tell him the story of how she came under the spell of an evil magician, Rothbart, and reveals that by day she and her friends are turned into swans and are slaves to Rothbart, but by night they turn back into humans. As Prince Siegfried and the Swan Queen Odette spend time together, they find themselves falling in love. The couple dances a love duet to this beautiful melody. The next act takes place in the castle. The prince's mother hosts a big party for the prince, inviting a lot of beautiful women from the village, hoping to find a bride for her son Siegfried. Prince Siegfried is not at all interested in anybody. That's right. His heart is with Odette, the Swan Queen. Suddenly, the door opens and a baron enters the room with his daughter, who looks just like Odette. Prince Siegfried is bewitched by this lady in black, who looks just like Odette, and falls for her. They dance a love duet to this beautiful melody. Seeing the couple enjoy each other's company, the prince's mother and Rothbart make an announcement of their marriage. Now, the Baron shows his true self as the evil magician Rothbart. Prince Siegfried realizes that the girl he danced with was not Odette, but in fact Rothbart's daughter, Odile. Siegfried pushes them away and rushes to the lake to find Odette. He finds heartbroken Odette and explains to her the trickery of Rothbart and asks her for her forgiveness. She grants him forgiveness. Rothbart appears and tells the prince that he must honor his word and marry his daughter, or both he and Odette will die. Prince Siegfried says, "No, I will not marry your daughter. I love Odette." And a fight between Siegfried and Rothbart follows. Odette and Siegfried die in each other's arms. But Rothbart's evil spell is broken by the power of Odette and Siegfried's love for each other, and Rothbart is destroyed by the swans who are released from their enslavement.
The next story is from the ballet Rodeo, and it's all about cowboys and a cowgirl. Rodeo is a type of a sport that cowboys and cowgirls compete in. The contestants are judged on how skillful they are in riding wild horses or wild bulls, and they are also judged on how well they lasso the animals.
The story takes place at a ranch. One week, the city girls come to visit the ranch, and the local cowboys get very excited. Seeing the cowboys giving all their attention to the city girls, this local cowgirl, who really likes the head wrangler, feels that she needs to do something to get his attention. I know what. She thinks if she can ride the bucking wild horse, she will impress him and win his attention. But she ends up making a fool of herself by getting thrown by the wild horse. She leaves the rodeo feeling embarrassed. This event teaches her the lesson that it's foolish to try to be someone else than who she really is. So, she puts aside her cowgirl clothing and comes to the dance night as herself, in a dress. Everybody starts noticing her. Even the head wrangler tries to ask her out. But she decides to go with another cowboy who has shown her respect, kindness, and honor from the very start. The story ends with all of them dancing the hoedown.
This is the story that teaches you that you don't have to try to change yourself to find true love. Aaron Copland is the great 20th century American composer who put music to this story. I'm going to play you the music that comes at the very end of the ballet when everyone is dancing the hoedown, which is a lively folk dance. It's very Western and rhythmic, and you will want to clap along. Go ahead and clap when you hear me tapping my foot. Here we go. So we have listened to 3 stories, and I played you the music that was written by these great composers to accompany these stories. I think it is the most natural thing that story and music go hand in hand. Music has that power to make us feel certain ways. It can make us cry, smile, or feel deeply moved. That's why many composers have written operas and ballets, to give us a more powerfully moving experience of these stories. Movie music is also a good example of how music is used to enhance our emotions. Try watching a movie without the underlying music and then with the music. You'll see how much music can add to what we feel. I hope you enjoyed hearing the stories and the little snippets of the tunes by these great composers I played for you. I do hope you'll get to go see operas and ballets when the coronavirus is over and things get back to being normal. Thanks for watching. Always remember to have music in your life. Take good care, and bye for now.